Hello, Hank Coper here from Boats on Wheels. Today we're at Deacon's Marine on the Hamble River, and we're here to take a look at the latest boat that's going to come to Boats on Wheels for brokerage. It's a little Jeanneau Sun 2000 from 2008 called Beijac. It's a delightful little boat, beautifully presented, gleaming and superbly well kitted out. It's probably the best example we've ever come across. So I don't think this boat's going to be around for long. But we thought we'd just share a few images of her while a little walk around, just to talk about some of her features and why it might be well worth coming to have a look at this little boat. So Beijac is a white-hulled version of the Jeanneau Sun 2000. This one's been anti-fouled last year, amongst a whole host of other things that are regularly done to this boat to keep her in ship-shape condition. It's a 6.6 metre boat, 2.5 metres wide. It's got a lifting keel, which when it's down is about 1.6 meters, but the keel slots right inside the hull. So that basically means that the boat floats in only a foot of water when the keel is up. And that's a big benefit when it comes to creek crawling, beaching, or of course trailer sailing. If you want to pop it on a trailer, this boat sits nice and squat on its trailer. The rig is fractional, so Z-spars mast. It's got a couple of wind instruments on the top of it. Looks like a Raymarine, a wireless wind system as well as a Windex, and of course an antenna for the VHF radio. The forestay's got a furling foil around it, so it's got a bomb-proof furler to furl the jib away. Looking at the cockpit, you actually see that there's quite a lot of additional features have been added to by the current owner. It's a wide open cockpit anyway, so you can seat a lot of people in here in comfort. But this one's actually been enhanced so that you can see in the centre there, you've got the mainsail traveller, which has been added to the boat, so it gives you an extra amount of control over the main. Forward of the helm position, which is obviously favoured, and that basically means you've got more control as you're sailing along. The helmsman can do everything. It's ideally suited for both racing and cruising. Got a good set of instruments. You've got wind and speed up there on the bulkhead, and you've also got a compass. And I've not got this out of the bag yet, but there's actually a chart plotter sitting underneath that traveller, which is sitting in the centre of the cockpit, and it can be pivoted towards the position of the helmsman, so he can keep an eye on the chart at all times, and also on the depth under his keel. The owners of Beijac have done a massive amount of work, not just to maintain the boat, but also to upgrade it. See there on the push bit, there's actually a spare antenna for the VHF radio. So if the mast comes down, you've still got some way of communicating. Stern of the boat, you've got your lifting rudder there. The rudder blade comes completely out of the water. It sits in an alloy stock with a wooden tiller. The rudder can obviously be deployed to be vertically down. It doesn't need to be anti-foul because it can be kept out of the water this way. That's a big advantage over some of the early Jeanneau Sun 2000s, because they had rudders that went straight up and down only. And of course, if you hit something with something that doesn't swing, basically you can kiss your rudder goodbye and possibly even just stop goodbye. The stock is alloy. What the owners have actually done, you can see that stainless steel wheel on the side of that stock. It allows you to tighten the rudder blade inside the stock, which means you get very little play in the rudder. They've done the same actually to the tiller as well. I'm not sure if I can focus on that. They've put extra brushes on the side of the tiller, again to reduce the amount of play. The boat comes with a 5 horsepower long shaft 4-stroke Honda engine. It's only being used for one season, so it's a really rarely used engine. It's got a separate little fuel tank. I'll show you what it's like, what this little engine is like running, but it's not attached to the boat obviously at the minute. But at least we can show a few seconds of it running just to show you how it works. And on the back here you've also got your recovery ladder and your backstay tensioner to get a bit of bend in that mast. Looking now at the coach roof, you've got a lift up hatch which can be left even while sailing, although a lot of people take them off completely, which is easy to do. Apart from the standard double winches that you've got on the coach roof here, the owners of this boat have actually added a total of 10 extra clutches, which means that all lines can come back from the mast to the cockpit. Everything can be handled from the cockpit in complete safety. There's a deck organizer, or 2 deck organizers, which in fact with an extra couple of cheek blocks even on top of those. And you've got here a jib traveller as well, with the control line going to a cleat, again bringing it back to the cockpit. Normally the standard Jeanneau Sun 2000s only have a single coach roof mounted block for jib control, so that's an extra feature. Here forward you've got a little ventilation hatch, and there that is actually another addition that the owners have made. See that stainless steel arrangement is actually a protection for the electrics that are coming down the mast. Basically it stops you damaging anything that's sensitive with things like spinnaker poles or sheets or something like that. Forward here you've got the anchor locker. Can't show you the anchor at the minute. Got a little bow fender, and obviously you've got the roller on the very front, put the anchor into. And this Facnor furler here, they are absolutely bomb-proof. They're really solid, dependable things. That's one of the big features of Jeanneau boats. And underneath there you can see that there's a stainless steel ring which the bowsprit goes through. This boat has both 2 types of spinnaker. One is an asymmetric, so the bowsprit fits through that hole when you deploy it, and that means you can fly your asymmetric. But this boat also has a mast track for a full symmetric spinnaker pole, because this boat also has a symmetric spinnaker as well as the asymmetric, so a lot of downwind sails. The owners have also fitted this bang strut to keep the boom upright, and obviously you've got a serious kicker there as well. So that, somewhat unusually perhaps also, and this is not a standard feature of these little Jeanneaus, you've got a centre cleat, which is very handy. I very much approve of that little addition. And if you look closely in the cockpit again, what you see there is an exterior speaker. The owners added a Kenwood sound system, which has got 2 speakers, two in the cabin and 2 in the cockpit, so you can play your music wherever you are. So looking beyond the main sheet traveller in the back half of the cockpit, you've got 2 lockers sitting on opposite sides, allow you to store some things like fenders. There's nothing in it at a minute. This one would obviously take the fuel tank. That's what the tie's for the remote fuel tank for the engine. And you've got the same space on the starboard side as well for things like fenders and lines and things like that. One last little feature to mention inside the cockpit is a position here for the tiller pilot. It does come with an ST1000 tiller pilot, which can be attached here through a fitting that fits onto there, and it's also got 2 electrical points, one for the tiller pilot, and looks like it's got one which allows you to attach the engine into the electrical system. So basically there's a charging coil fitted to the engine, which allows you to take power, draw some power from the engine and charge your batteries. Right at the front of the cockpit here, you've got one of the big features of these little Jeanneau Sun 2000s. It's got a control line for the keel. The keel doesn't have to be winched, it can be just pulled up by that little line fitted through a clutch, and it goes down to the bottom of the boat. The owners of this particular boat have actually been servicing the keel by dropping it out every time the boat comes out of the water, which is pretty much unheard of. It's a level of servicing that very few people bother to undertake. I'm just continuing on the underwater theme for a moment. The owners of Beijac have obviously anti-fouled the boat, but they haven't just done that. They've actually epoxied in the ballast plate that normally hangs under the boat and creates quite a lot of water turbulence in standard Jeanneau Sun 2000s. and what they've done is they've made it completely flat, then gel shielded it in, and that will certainly help to improve the performance of the boat. So when you go down below Beijac, you can see she's got the comfort pack included. So that's the vinyl beige cushions, floorboards. You get water supply with a tap, and you also get electrics. So it makes it nice and comfortable inside. The cushions look in really good shape actually. They're, being 17-18 years old doesn't show at all there. They look really clean. So you've got an area where you can put a stove, obviously, or lots of other things, little charts perhaps, with a fire extinguisher down in that locker, and then you've got another locker space under the sink. That's where the water has come through from a water supply at the back. It's a bit difficult to show that at the minute, but you've got little electric lights, and the owner has actually gone to the trouble of fitting a Kenwood sound system in here, which has speakers both here in the cabin but also out here in the cockpit. And rather unusually for a boat like this, you've got an actual marine heads. That's a nice little touch. You don't get that on boats like this very often, so very comfortable. And then here you've got your centerboard casing. You've got a little access hatch there. These bunks are really big, they're really long and wide, so they're good for tall people. And the owner's fitted a switch panel with various functions can be controlled from here. You've also got an ICOM ICM 411 VHF radio, which has got an antenna on the mast, as well as a spare one on the push bit. And then you've actually got two batteries on this boat, and they can be charged from shore power. So the shore power coming in at 240 volts, but just for the charger, that's not for an internal 240 volt system. But yeah, you've got plenty of power on tap. You're not gonna run out. And you've got you've got your little bowsprit and spinnaker pole down there as well. You've got underneath all of these cushions, there's locker space down there as well. So that's both under the saloon berths here, as well as the V berths at the front. So there's plenty of place to store stuff. And what you've got in the cabin sole here is also a bracket to put the post in for the cabin table, which can be fitted in here, and it can also be fitted outside. So you've got a place to eat or have drinks right inside the cockpit and the cabin. All in all, this boat's in really clean condition, super tidy, no mold growth, which you quite often see on boats like this in the middle, especially in the middle of winter. So yeah, it's been looked after really well. So that concludes our tour of Beijac. If you like what you saw, then make an appointment and come and take a look. See you soon.